after looking around a bit, I managed to pick up a couple greater soul gems. Haven't found any grand soul gems floating around quite yet, but these will do for now. Got rid of my old stuff. Found this bow in a chest at the Dark Brotherhood Sanctuary. That was pretty cool. Managed to just pick up a axe from one of the merchants. Don't plan on keeping it for any period of time, just something to experiment with. Wanted to try something a little different. Actually, pretty much assuming it won't work, but it's worth a run. Make an axe that's usable, and then I want to throw in some way to damage or reduce an enemy's agility, which is essentially, if you're a Dark Souls fan, it's like their poise meter. But I don't know if you just need to reduce it to create a stagger effect, or if you need to break it completely. I'm not sure, and I don't know how much agility is reduced per hit taken by a weapon, depending on its size and weight and all that stuff. I don't know how the numbers crunch exactly. But ideally, if their agility could be reduced enough, then they could be, if not stun locked, at least staggered often enough to where I could get in a few extra hits, which I need to do. With this difficulty, basically it's like this. Enemies do 6 times their normal damage. You do 1/6, or to put that in perspective, 15% roughly of your normal damage against enemies. So it's not that they have a huge health pool, it's just that, you know, it's like you're swinging a toothpick at them instead of your sword. And so that needs to be compensated for somehow. How do you bridge a gap of essentially a 12 times damage discrepancy, you know, between the enemy and yourself? Well, that's the thing. I am beginning to believe that this game was designed with max difficulty in mind, considering everything that they have at your disposal. Spells, potions, poisons, enchantments, and all that other stuff working together and forming some kind of synergy with all your gear and your stuff, I think, is the key to this. And this has been a wonderful learning experience for me. I'm gonna be able to carry this over into other games. What I've learned here, I've had to kind of think outside the box. It's kind of extended my boundaries a little bit. It's kind of stressed me mentally, and that's a good thing. Required me to think, you know, solve a puzzle. How do we bridge that gap? Seems like a huge gap. It seems insurmountable. How do you close that to where the game becomes manageable and it's not just unforgivingly brutal all the time type of thing? And I think in the back of my head I found a solution. Now here, notice with my axe, I'm trying this absorb agility. It's about as much as I can afford on this axe, and I don't think it's going to be near enough. I think in the balance of the game, considering that they've basically intentionally left drain, well, you can get a drain agility, but it's later, and I think it's only with DLC. It's not even in just the vanilla game itself, unless you're on PC and you got like console commands or you know, unless you cheat. But it's not really factored into the mechanics. Drain and damage, there's only absorb, and it's expensive. Now it takes it away from the enemy and it gives it to you temporarily, which is nice, but I don't know exactly how much. I'm thinking this isn't going to be near enough. What I'm guessing is that if you want to affect an enemy's agility, to stagger them, often you're going to need to damage it, one, to where they either need to find some way to heal that or something, right? And to keep it, because see, drain is only for the duration of the spell. Damage is just damage on strike for a certain number of points. It's basically like taking damage from a hit to your health. And you can do damage health, which is just specifically to reduce their health by a certain amount. And they're going to need to, you know, do something about that type of thing. Well, if you can reduce an enemy's agility to a certain point, they're essentially staggered. Okay? And so if you can damage it enough, you can keep them almost stun locked. I'm thinking that needs to be done with poisons, is what I'm guessing. I'm going to try this with the thought in the back of my head is this isn't going to work, right? But we'll see. We'll see if I can produce some kind of stagger effect here. A two-handed weapon should in and of itself, with enough hits, produce some kind of stagger effect also. All right? Not necessarily damaging agility, but slowly kind of like draining it. Similar to the way stamina is drained when you swing too much type of thing. That's what I'm hoping. But I'm thinking that needs to be compensated for with poisons. Now, the cool thing is weakness to magic also affects poisons, most of them. I don't know if it affects all of them, but ideally it would at least affect one that damages attributes, as if it were a magic effect. Well, if it can enhance the effects of poisons, then if I had weakness to magic on both my weapons and my primary destructive spell, right, then I could make an enemy susceptible not only to my elemental attacks, but also to my poisons. But on top of that, let's say I also had weakness to a damage type, and here's the thing. Here's what I got going on in my head. Let's say our damage type is frost. Let's say I had weakness to frost on both my weapons and my primary destructive spell being a frost spell. So say a snowball with weakness to frost and weakness to magic built in, custom spell. And then I had weakness to frost and weakness to magic built into my sword for a couple seconds. Just 2 or 3 seconds. And my bow for 2 or 3 seconds. Now, whatever I'm hitting the enemy with, they're staying weak to that particular thing uniformly across the board. Now let's say my summons uses a frost-based attack. Remember, your summons is not affected by the difficulty scaling. Your summons is treated as a normal enemy, just like your enemies, right? Amongst each other. So your summons is going to hit just as hard as they would on normal, and they're going to take the same damage as they would on normal. That's why you can have a stupid zombie take 5 hits from the sword, the same sword that 1 hits you, because the zombie it's being treated as if it's normal difficulty. It only involves the player and enemies, okay? So if I was stacking weakness to frost and weakness to magic, which can essentially stack with weakness to frost and enhance it, I don't think it doubles it, but I think it enhances it. It allows them to take a little extra bonus damage as if they're doubly weak to that particular element. And then I had a summons dealing frost damage like a Frost Atronak, who I already loved, right? Well, if you can make your Frost Atronak, say, or your Ghost, which also deals frost damage, I believe, doubly effective, then I think there you go. I think that's the way to build it, but you got to have synergy with all your stuff.
I'm telling you, lad, it's bad.
We'll see. We'll see.
Woman on board a pirate vessel. Back in my day, it never would have happened.
Oh, come now. How many times has Malville saved our necks, huh? Captain Tussaud keeps her on for a reason. She's a better sailor than any one of us.
Hold there, laddie. Now you're just being insulted. She may be tougher than me, and meaner too, but a better sailor? It ain't even possible.
All right, how could I forget? That time we were almost dashed upon the rocks near the city of Firsthold. That was somebody else at the helm.
I told you 1,000,000 times it wasn't my fault. The wheel was covered with gull droppings. My hand slipped. It could have happened to anyone.
Well, it's never happened to Malville, has it? You know why? Because she could sail better than you in her sleep, you old fool.
Bah, you mark my words, boy. That dark elf trollop is bad luck. The captain will end up dead with her around. You'll see.
You'd better watch your tongue, old man. Captain Tussaud hears you talking like that, he'll cut it out. Now, come on. We've been gabbing long enough.
Yeah, that man's words actually said more than what you think. I don't know if it's because she's around that captain's going to wind up dead, but that's our target. This is our contract. All right, sorry about my gabbing. The theory crafting, getting excited about it. This game has required me to think, on top of it already being like the best game ever. Now I've had to think a little bit. It's made the game even better, and I didn't think that was possible. So kind of excited about that, and coming up with a build. I mean, an actual build, and it has to do with all the gear, all your spells, how you craft stuff, and everything put together, and the effects, and understanding the mechanics of these things working with each other to somehow compensate for, like we were saying, a 12 times damage discrepancy, essentially. And it's I don't know, sense of accomplishment. I think it's cool. If it works. If it makes it manageable and we can go in there and just go berserk mode on max difficulty, that's awesome. And do it legit? Yeah, I'm totally cool with that. Anyway. Alright, so we got to the captain's cabin here. Back to our Dark Brotherhood contracts. I thought we'd pull off a few of these. Although there's something to be said for doing these later, because I think just about every one of these has a reward. And the higher level you are, the stronger that reward is. Whether it's armor or a ring or a weapon or whatever. It's a lot better stuff when you're in the 18 to 20 level range than it is now. I'm not all that worried about it. I have specific things in mind that I'm kind of looking forward to. A lot of this stuff I really wouldn't use. Most things that fortify skills, I'm not going to use anyway, because I'm trying to develop those skills, and I don't need to make it any harder on myself to get those skills to 100. So you probably won't catch me using a lot of that stuff anyway. But, here we go. Now, we could talk to him, but I'm not trying to hear that. Okay, so I've got Absorb Agility, and let's see if I even get this dude to stagger once. Now, he's technically kind of a boss. Notice this health pool. We're just hitting a lot softer, essentially. And they're hitting a lot harder. And just as simple as that. Okay, so summoning is going to play a huge part in this. And so part of the way we might want to consider gearing our characters to maximize the effectiveness of our summons as we go. So, yet once again, if my zombie is hitting normal, your summons are going to hit harder than you do, even with maxed out enchanted stuff. You get severely stunted on this difficulty. So there is a way to compensate for that. And it's through your summons as well as other stuff. Like I said, poisons. Poisons are going to help. The extra damage modifier that can come from a basic poison, and I'm thinking of stacking 4 ingredients that all have 2 things in common: damage health and damage agility. And if I can get a bonus 3rd or 4th effect like damage magicka, damage willpower, which reduces their stamina, that's great. But I don't know how effective poisons can be. But the good thing is damage stacks. Absorb and drain do not stack. If you drain for 100 points and keep hitting them, it just keeps resetting that 100 points. It doesn't add 100 plus 100, et cetera, et cetera. Absorb is the same way. But absorb is like drain. It just drains it from them and gives it to you temporarily for the duration of the spell, right? So that's not really what I'm looking for either, because we can't create a big enough number to one-shot anybody. Like if you could do 500 points, which you would need to do... No, you need a 600-point spell to equal 100 points, because you're doing 1/6 the damage. So if you've got a 100-point drain health, you're only doing essentially 16 points of drain health. And so you see the enemy's health bar just barely move. And you're like, why? It's 100 points. Well, no, it's not. It's actually like 15. Right? Now, if they have 100 points and they hit you with 100-point drain health, it's going to hit you for 600. You better have 600 plus health points or you're one-shotted. Right? Well, it's not fair. Well, it is, because that's the difficulty. That's the scaling there, and it needs to be compensated for. You need to have resistances and immunities to magic. You got to have a huge armor rating to compensate for the extra damage. Let's put it this way. With maxed out armor, which I believe caps at 85%, you can't get any higher than that, 85% protection, damage resistance with armor. With full armor rating, enemies are essentially hitting you the same way they would on normal if you were almost naked. That's basically how that works.
You are like a dark gift from the Night Mother herself. Please, tell me how I can help. So, the pirate has been eliminated. Excellent. No one will mourn his passing, and Sithis has been appeased. Please accept this black band as your reward. It is a ring whose powers are quite useful to those who value discretion.
So creepy.
I'm glad you've returned. The contract is waiting, if you're ready. We need you to stage an accident. Kill the target in the manner specified, and you'll receive a considerable bonus. Do you accept this contract? As I expected. Good. The target is a wood elf named Bainlin. You will find him at his home in Bruma. Enter secretly and avoid his manservant, Grom. On the 2nd floor is a secret door leading to a crawl space. Inside are the fastenings of a mounted head that hangs over Bainlin's favorite chair. Loosen those fastenings any night between 8 p.m. and 11 p.m., and the head will surely fall on Bainlin as he relaxes in his chair, as is his custom. If Bainlin is eliminated in any other manner, or if the manservant Grom is killed, you will forfeit the bonus. Now go, and may Sithis be with you.
Right on. A well-spoken vampire. He's polite. I'll give him that for a vampire assassin. Fortify light armor, fortify security. See, resist magic is nice. See, I think if we were like level, I don't know, 18, 20, 25, whatever the cap is when gear and stuff maxes out. I was thinking it was 18 to 20, but I might be thinking of another game. We'll see when we get there. The really good stuff starts popping up around level 15 through 20. I know that. You know, the mundane ring, and the various ones that reflect damage. Like I was saying earlier, finding some way to compensate that. If an enemy is, even with your maxed out damage resistance, is still bleeding through, 6 times the amount of damage they normally would, right? Then finding some way to reflect that. So if essentially an enemy only has to hit you once to equal 6 hits, then the ability to reflect a third of those hits back at the attacker so they can get a taste of their own medicine does balance it out a little bit. There are some amulets and rings that do that in the game. They also fortify the particular skill that you use primarily as a weapon, like blunt, blade. There's like an amulet of axes, I think it's called, ring of blades. Maybe it's necklace of blades.
Good day. I'm Tolgan, herald to Countess Narina Carvane here in Bruma. She requests your company at your earliest convenience. Countess Carvane would prefer if you speak to her in person. She also said to present you with this stipend as a taste of things to come. My lady holds court from 8 in the morning until 6 in the evening each day. That would be the best time to see her. The Countess is in attendance from 8 o'clock in the morning until noon, and then again from 3 o'clock in the afternoon until 8 each day. If you wish to seek audience with her, please return at that time. You're also welcome to wait anywhere in the Great Hall. Good day.
Yeah, sure. Could you not interrupt me while I'm waiting here? I'm trying to assassinate... visit an old friend. Yeah. Alright, so it said anywhere between, 8 and 11, right? See if we can find the back door. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Hadn't been here in a long time, but I remember doing this. There should be some loot in here, too. Ought to be able to find some good stuff. Once again, this is where Fingleam comes in handy. Now I have this thing, like that black band is worth a decent amount, right? Find somebody with a lot of gold, buy it, but I almost hate to sell stuff like that because it's like, it's a unique item, it's a named, it's part of, it's sentimental. I earned that in the Dark Brotherhood. I don't want to sell that. But then it's like you want to go do some training. How much is that going to cost? 3,500 gold? 8,000 gold? Oh, okay. Because that ring is going to have to say goodbye. Yep. Yeah, I think we may just take the money and go. It's a ring I'll never use. And it's worth $3,000 already. That's a pretty good amount early on. Totally worth it. Although, be hard pressed to find a merchant that has probably more than 1,200 at the most. I'm trying to think the max amount of money any merchants have without... Well, I think that goes up as your, what is it, your mercantile and personality attributes and skills go up. I think they get more money. Something gives merchants more money, I'm pretty sure. I know it does in Skyrim too. It's one of the skills you can pick. I would never go for stuff like that. Money was never an issue. It's never really an issue in this game either. Honestly, I spent more money training for certain things to maximize my levels than anything else in this game. Bought my share of houses and stuff, and you know, eventually when houses are what, 40, 50 grand, you know, stuff like that, and it takes another 15, 20 to furnish them and all that. Whoop-de-doo-dah. Plenty of ways to get money in the game. Not an issue. I think the hardest part is just managing it the first few levels. That's really the only time you really run into any issues. Well, invisibility is beautiful with the Dark Brotherhood and Thieves Guild. There's some quests that are just made so much simpler having that. I'm totally wanting to train in agility anyway, so this is all good. These are a lot like Thieves Guild quests, except the target is to kill somebody instead of take something. Instead of going after a particular item or something. Oh, look at that. That's what I'm talking about. Now that just raises your speed, just period. Stuff like that is cool. I'm thinking strength. Strength would be cool. I'm not sure how it works to get things above 100 though. I believe most attributes count that way. Like, if you get your magicka to like 110, 120, 130, I believe you get those bonus points towards your mana, which is mainly what or intelligence. I'm sorry, if you get your intelligence to 120, 130, each, 10 points of intelligence is 20 points in your magicka pool. And so I think that applies no matter what. I think you can get it well above 100. And it all counts. I'm hoping that works for strength too. I keep that in mind. Extra point or two of damage always come in handy. And the extra carry weight, that's always good. Being able to carry 20 more sets of armor to sell. Okay, and this is where it's almost impossible to get out of the house if you're not invisible. And of course, if you're forced to fight him and kill him, then you lose whatever the bonus is. I don't even remember what you get for this, but if there's a bonus, I want it. Absolutely. Mission accomplished, and we got some stuff. I'm gonna go make some money. That's what I'm talking about. Go do some training. But I think from here we'll go, after we turn this in, I'll meet you guys in Leowin. Then we'll go talk to, what's her name? Scriva? I think. This is where the Thieves Guild quests start to get, some of them are kind of complicated. They're not just a walk in the park. You gotta work for your money. Anyway, I think we meet her in Leowin. We've also, there's a fence in Leowin too that we can use. And I think each consecutive fence that you unlock has more money in the Thieves Guild. Like Ongar only has, 600 or 800? I think Darji, or whatever his name is, I think he has 1,000. And then the next one will have 1,200 and so on and so forth. No, I'm not looking for a Chivo. Looking for the vampire dude. These quests start to get more and more challenging too, if I remember right.
So, the accident has been staged and Bainlin lies dead. Well done. You have more than earned your reward and bonus. I present to you this dagger. It's an enchanted blade known as Sufferthorn. Its prick is deadly, I assure you. Yes, you are quite an asset to this sanctuary. In fact, I believe you are ready for advancement. I hereby appoint you Slayer. Well done. Now go, child of Sithis. Go and rest. You'll need it.
Not creepy at all. Drain strength, damage health, 15 points on strike. 51 uses. That's nice. Very nice. Now see, damage health, that's good. That's just straight up 50. Although it probably only damaged health like 3 points for us. And that's if it rounds up. I don't know what 1/6 of 15 is, but it's not much. Not much at all. But knowing what we work with, man, like I say, it's exciting thinking we can put something together here. We got to get the stuff. We need all the stuff. Get some sigil stones under our belt. Get some grand soul gems. Get some enchanting, done and stuff like that. But when this comes together, this is gonna be fun. Streaming this is gonna be fun too, you guys. Anyway, all right. Thanks for hanging out, listening to me babble. If you want to subscribe, you can click that button up top. If you want to catch the rest of this playthrough, you can click that image in the middle. It should send you straight to the playlist. And I will catch you guys on the next one. Y'all take care. Have a good one. All right, bye-bye.